Os sócios da Balaclava, Dota e Fará, fizeram uma entrevista com o ícone indie DeMarco. O canadense falou sobre a sua carreira, sobre o que ele tem feito na quarentena, sobre gostar de música e comida brasileira, respondeu perguntas dos fãs e ainda assistiu clipes de artistas nacionais.
Maybe we should start with the funny stuff, like the good stuff, which is basically fast reviews of Brazilian icons.
Okay.
É pau, é pedra, é o fim do caminho, é o resto de toco, é
Ah, Tom and Regina, baby, let's go! I love this song. Actually, I love this whole album. And this video is hella cute, singing into a very fancy stereo tube condenser. Or might be a ribbon, I'm not sure. Big, nice, long tube mic. Beautiful. Oh yeah, I love this. I actually been listening to a lot of Brazilian music recently. So, but yeah, no, that album, yeah, that's great. It's amazing. Classic. Cool. Legendary.
Excellent.
Okay. Dogao. Whoa, sexy cat. Holy shit.
There are rumors that this band was processed because of gorillas.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. It reminds me, we had another band like this, like a cartoon band in Canada called Prozac. And it was a similar vibe. But this is like, when is this? This isn't recent though. This is old?
No, this is early 2000s.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the animation, I think it's hand-drawn animation. It's kind of dope. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was made by like one of the biggest producers in Brazil, like really mainstream. And this guy also produced this track, another video.
Okay, yeah. Let's see here. Charlie Brown Jr. in, that's a good, what is he, a rapper too? That's a good name.
It's
Charlie Brown Jr. Kind of like The Offspring or something, it seems like. This is classic 90s music video right here. A little bit of skateboarding, graffiti. It's kind of like a little No Doubt, a little bit, you know, a little Offspring. Yeah. Smash Mouth too. Good haircut.
Do you used to listen this kind of music when you were young?
I listened to No Doubt. I did, yeah. Offspring was not for me. Smash Mouth, the one big song, sure. But No Doubt, I still think No Doubt is a great band. Ah, that's a good...
Yeah, me too.
That's a good music video. You don't see a music video like that too often anymore. That's nice. This is a big rock show. This is making me, you know, look at this. People are jumping, having a good time, rock and roll music, giant venue. But we can't have any of that. Why? Coronavirus.
It's a bummer.
Yeah. This is tight. People are loving it. They're loving the vibe.
Você não vale nada. Você vale tudo.
This guy's really cute. Oh, this is his music. Here we go. Oh, with the fans. This is a good move. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is... Oh, with the slingshots? Wow. RC truck? Love it. Wow, this is amazing.
Brazilian Beastie Boys, right?
Man, this guy's so sick.
Playboy do boné, que vira o boné, que vira o boné na cabeça, Playboy do
Playboy do Boné? Okay.
Yeah.
These moves? Oh, in this style. You see how he's holding the mic like this?
Yeah.
That's the style. Oh, and down here, he kind of shows it off. Oh, with the hat! Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. Wow. Hey, Playboy de Bonet. Okay. Wow, that guy is amazing. He's a real one. Casino. Let's see. Oh, Casino. Oh, yeah. This is old, though. It's got to be. This is like 2000s. Huh? Oh. Ah. Oh, my God. He's got the moves. Oh, and he's singing in English, too, huh? It always gets me down. That the host is just going like, like in the middle of the song. That's great, too. Wow. Casino. I'm getting a real education here today. This is nice. Yeah. Vinny. Let's see. Oh! What the Oh my God. This is just crazy. There's just Brazilian TV's like full of butts or something? Is that?
It used to be in the 90s. Like
this guy's kind of got like a surfer bro vibe, you know what I mean? Wow.
Next.
That's insane. Jojo. What's up with Jojo?
Que tiro foi esse? Que tiro foi esse? Que tal arraso? Que tiro foi esse? Que tiro foi esse?
Oh my God. Gotta love that synth. That's nice. This is a big video. 231 million views? My God. What's her necklace say? Oh, it's her name. Wow, this is crazy. Restart? We'll see.
E eu sei de força, mas porque não vai voltar atrás do que...
Whoa, lot of haircuts in this band. With emo and stuff, I kind of stayed away. Like, it wasn't for me. Oh, halftime breakdown? Classic. The hair is just like, pew, pow, so, and then the rat tail's like, pew, 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 pow, pow. It's crazy. That is a very, very strong mustache. This is good, yeah. I like this. Supla, green hair. Let's take a look.
Java girl in Brazil.
Her dad is Irish. He's singing about New York, huh? Sucking sushi, kiss that pretty face. That's a very strange lyric. This is cool. It's very bizarre. Pierce knows with her baby head. Oh God, she was licking my head. He couldn't really find very many other words that rhyme with head, it seems. Shaved head. Oh! Blondes always seem so mean, but they look very clean. They make me feel invincible. That's so bizarre. It's kind of awesome. A-O-chan?
Todo mundo mexendo, vambora. Conheci uma menina que veio do sul pra dançar.
Boom Boom? This is a really good video. What? This music video looks like a Sonic the Hedgehog level or something. It's crazy. Just shaking that butt. The haircut is crazy too. It's awesome. I always think of that first, remember the very first night we were in Sao Paulo with you guys and you took us to the samba?
Oh yeah, that was dope.
And
yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah.
And it was like super packed, crazy. Yeah, that was tight. How many years ago was that? How many years ago was it?
5 years ago? No, 6 years. 6 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, 2014. Yeah.
2014. Yeah.
I also remember you remember last time we were there and you guys threw that barbecue at the like empty house?
Oh yeah, sure thing.
And I was feeling so sick, but the guy with the meat kept coming and he was like, huh? And I was like, okay. And then I think I shit blood at the party that night. I don't know why. It's super crazy. I think that I maybe got like some kind of stomach because we were in Mexico City and a couple other cities in Mexico before we came. And I think everybody else got some kind of stomach, like Kira and John and everybody. And I think maybe I got it there, but it didn't affect me till we were down there. Wow.
Yeah, we wanted to give you like full experience of Brazil before talking about Brazil.
Well, thank you. Now I know.
You know a little bit of how we feel about it. And when we listen to DeMarco, how we feel also, like how we associate with the stuff that we listen to.
That was one thing. I remember like ever since we started coming down there, kids are always like, you sound like a lot of Brazilian music.
You know what? There's this guy that I didn't show. Like last one then, Lulu Santos.
Okay.
Okay. He's the king of chorus pedal in Brazil.
Ah.
Eu quero crer no amor, numa boa, que isso valha pra qual.
Oh. Oh. This is dope. Handsome man too, big hair. Yeah, that's a good guitar tone. That guy's dope.
Yeah. So like talking about Brazil, like what do you remember the most here? Like regarding like food, behavior, like the music, the people, like.
I remember a lot of stuff. Me and Kira talk about it a lot actually. That because the last time I remember Kira came down with me. You know, she sent me a picture or the link to the website or something of that fish place you guys always take us to. Like 2 days ago, she sent it, just being like, I wish we could eat this again. You know, what's that place called?
Peixaria.
Yeah, that place is good. I like that. What else? I mean, yeah, and of course, my favorite sandwich on the planet is in Sao Paulo, Estadão, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tell a lot of people about this sandwich. I dream about this sandwich. You know, I got Paniche to try and fly one to Argentina for me, I think. And they were like, you can't take this to another country. It's not going.
Did he try?
Yeah, he tried. He took it to the airport, but they took it away from him. but yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, we always have a great time down there. I don't know. Especially, it was funny. I've been there a bunch of times, but then the last time, it's like I felt like maybe it's because we walked around more or something, but it was like I saw more. I don't know. I remember me and Kira went to this like fruit restaurant. It was mostly fruit smoothies or whatever bowls, and it's, I don't know, like 90 different fruits I'd never seen before in my life. Like, what the hell's going on with that? You know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy because like the times that we brought you here, like you were maybe, yeah, I guess like the artist that traveled the most here around Brazil. Like you went through like I guess 7 cities, and then
been all over the place. Yeah. And we drove.
But it was always fast, right? Like it was always like really quick, each place. But this last time you came for Lollapalooza, you managed to walk a bit more. So.
Well, we had, I think it was just because there was like a day in between or something. But yeah, I don't know. I like it there a lot. I remember, you know, you guys have had us play at all those strange places in Rio, like the abandoned haunted mansion. You know, that other stage, like in the jungle, that was crazy. When we did that little show at the, like out front of that little store, you remember the like benefit show or whatever? That was cool.
You guys had that, right?
Yeah, that's right. And you guys had that crazy apartment like right on Ipanema Beach or something? Oh, Copacabana, yeah. That was amazing. I don't know. I like the food. I like the vibe. Kira's actually are Canadians allowed to come down there right now?
I guess so. Like, I don't know.
What's the vibe with the coronavirus and stuff? Is it bad down there? Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
It's like the US.
Yeah.
Yes, we're changing the position. Like, who's the first?
Right. USA is always number 1.
But you have a worse version of Trump here, and it's making things more difficult.
Worse, huh? That's hard to believe.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. Yeah, and you stayed the whole time in LA, or did you travel back to Canada too?
No, I've just been here the whole time. It's really weird too, because it's like I haven't, you know, this is the longest that I haven't been on tour in like 10 years or something. So it's strange, but I'm enjoying it, but it's also like getting, used to not really playing is it's weird for me, but it's fun. It's cool, I'm fairly lucky with the situation because we, have been working so much. Like I'm okay to like hang out for a while, but it sucks for, so many people are like losing their jobs, or like, a lot of my friends are like, they're paying their rent month to month from touring, and it's like, ooh, it's like, it's pretty insane. So,
yeah.
And there's no coming back in sight yet. So we'll see what happens.
And with the festival, we're doing like a donation campaign for the backstage workers. So
cool.
That's one of the reasons we're here. So yeah, it's been really tough here for all the people in the cultural market,
But you got to keep your chin up. That's the thing. Life is crazy. 2020, here we go. Just got to keep your chin up. But
and when you mentioned about the Estadão pork sandwich, like every time we were bringing like new bands here, like a lot of cases they were like, yeah, Mac told us to go there. Like, and I remember with Dive and
Tops.
I think Jerry Paper went as well.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah,
we took everyone like
95% of the artists we brought.
I tell everybody about this sandwich. I tell them all. It's one of the world's great sandwiches. It's 24 hours. That place is so fucking cute inside. It's the greatest place. I love this place. It's the best.
And I was thinking like when I watched you on Hot Ones, I was thinking about the pepper sauce that we tried to smuggle you like with you and Michelle, like try to take to US. Did you manage to do it? Like,
we did, but something happened to it on the, it might have been like the pressure or something in the plane or something, but we opened it. I think a couple of the bottles broke, but we smelled it when we got home and it was like something went bad. So I don't know if it was like, if it got cooked in the sun, it smelled like it's very stinky farts. So something went sour. But the cachaça kept very fine. That was all right. But the hot sauce,
So you tried the Jambu cachaça? The one that on your tongue, like gives the numb effect on your tongue?
Oh yeah, I've done that one before, I think.
Yeah. In Belém, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Oh yeah. That's like that's where it's from, right?
Yeah. And like I was thinking, like also discussing with Rafael before that, like the first time that we brought you, it was like the first main international act that we were bringing. And it was really cool to see like the reaction from like the audience. Like 2 weeks before Salad Days was out, like the young kids were already singing at Sesc. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. Well, I didn't that whole, because that was the first time we'd come down there in general too, and I think we did Chile and Argentina on that tour as well. But yeah, Salad Days wasn't even out yet, and like all those shows, everyone knew the words already. It was like, what the fuck is going on here? But it was really cool. It was like thinking back on it now, it's like, especially where we were at, like it's like I remember making that record. It was like in between two tours, so there was like no downtime. Everything was just like so. It was kind of like a, it's a bit. I remember a lot, but it was a bit of a blur at the same time. But yeah, it was awesome. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's crazy also that like the year, like 2015, when we brought you to perform at Audio, was like a 2,000 packed venue. Yeah. Instead of like 300, 400 at Sesc before. Yeah. So like, was that like a common thing? Like, how do you react to like just a year after the whole Salad Day stuff? Like, how was the band feeling about it? Like,
honestly, I think it was just, we never stopped going out and playing. So it was like, we didn't, you don't notice things getting crazier or bigger or anything. It's kind of like, oh, I guess this room's bigger than last time, and it's fun and it's crazy, but it's like, you just don't really, it was so fast and insane all the time that it would just, but it was great. It's great. And I mean, it's still, even up till today, it's been awesome. But it's like, I just try and always kind of keep, humble about it, where it's just kind of like, this is crazy. Especially, like, oh, I'm in Brazil, I'm playing to 2,000 people. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is, I'm like a kid from a little city in Canada. Like, what the fuck is going on? You know, it's like, it's awesome. But, you know, it doesn't matter if it's 2,000 people or 50 people. Like, it's still amazing, you know, but it's
yeah,
definitely trippy. It's crazy. It's hard to, thinking back now, it's just kind of like, what? I mean, even thinking about playing shows at this point with the coronavirus, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, I remember that, kind of. You know, it's like,
yeah.
It's a trip.
And, like, I read that, like, one of your interviews, like, you were saying that, like, young bands nowadays, like, when they blow up on the internet, like, they already play, like, really packed shows. And when you were young, like, you were playing basements and house parties and whatever. So, like, it was, like, an organic growth, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, we definitely had, there was a couple milestones. Like, you know, when 2 came out, the shows got bigger all of a sudden. When Salad, I didn't really notice it as much with Salad Days, but like, because I think we had just been on tour the whole time. But definitely when 2 came out, we went from playing to like, you know, small little crowds and a couple kids that were like, hell yeah, dude, to like a whole, you know, sold out venue. It's the move where it's like not the like 2 kids that are like, yo man, I really like your tape, to like everyone just being like, I've heard like 1 song, I think, you know, and it's just, I mean, but that's great too. A lot of the, you know, I mean, nowadays I have way more people that are like, you're that Mac DeMarco guy, right? And I'm like, and they're like, I don't really know your music, but I know who you are for some reason. I'm like, okay. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a bit weird to me, but it's just with the internet now. But it is, I've met tons of people that, you know, are doing their thing and they you know, they blow up online or something like that. Not saying that we didn't, but it's like, you know, to play your first show in like a sold out 1,000 cap room or something is like so alien to me. It would be terrifying and like so confusing, you know, because yeah, for like probably for like 6 years, like no one gave a shit that we were playing usually even, but it was fun. But the thing that bothers me with that situation sometimes is that kids kind of, I don't know. I think a lot of people love it, and they're making music. They love making music, but when people complain, it's like, oh, I'm tired. I don't like touring. It's kind of like touring is like one of the greatest privileges of, you know, you get to go, you get to travel. You're being paid to travel. You're like having this crazy life experience. You get to like show your artwork to people. It's like none of that I'm tired bullshit. Like just, you know, count your blessings and go out and do it. Like it pisses me off, but I don't think most people are cool about it, but it's just, you know, it's crazy. It's a crazy life. And I think touring's changed a lot over the past 10 years. And I think that, you know, the music industry has changed a lot and it's different, but, I don't know. Still, it's jump in a van with a bunch of people you love and travel around and play songs. Like what could be better? Nothing, I don't think. Not for me, at least.
Yeah. And it's funny that like you were always like really like humble about like the group of touring, like the staff that like comes with you, like because I remember the first time you were here, like it was only the band, only the 4 guys, and then like the second time Joe, and at Lollapalooza like the band was different, but at the same also Joe, like so for years you kept only like maybe 1 tour manager / like sound guy. So how was that for you? Like, was there a time that you were like, enough of that, I need to like?
No, I mean, still today, it's like we have the band, we have my same TM, Joe, and Berto, his roommate, is our monitor guy now. He has been for a couple of years, and my friend Amiel does the merch, and it's pretty much it. You know, it's like keep it pretty. You know, I don't know. I don't really think that I've never really been interested in doing like a big crazy show or anything or you know like production. You know, I just like to play, just put the instruments up and play. You know, so it's like we never really needed the clientele or the manpower or whatever to you know, to deal with that kind of thing. So it's just like, and also I'm a penny pincher as well. So it's like, you know, the smaller it is, the more we can keep doing it because we're not like, you know, we never really lose money on, we've never really lost money on tour. It's like, because we have no expenses. There's like no overhead. We did most our tours in a fucking Volvo, you know, it's like, you can't, I don't know. So, and I like it that way. I don't know. It's like,
yeah.
As simple as possible. Even sometimes I did a solo tour a couple, maybe a year, 2 years ago, or some in the States too. Just mellow, go out there, play the songs. If people enjoy it, that's great. If not, maybe next time, maybe not, whatever. You know?
Was that like a decision since from the beginning? Like when you met Michelle, like you already had this, like you briefed her about it, like I want to keep things like kind of like low key, or?
I mean, maybe. I think it's like, I just never, I don't know. It just never really grew. I mean, there were points where it's like, I think we need a tour manager, because I was doing all the driving and advancing the shows and, settling up and selling the merch. That was crazy. Like I can't do that every night. That's crazy. So, there's things that get added, but I think like the reason it seems weird for us is because we held off a lot longer than most bands do, considering the size of rooms that we were playing. It's like we're pulling up to like Red Rocks in like a Sprinter van, and that's it. Like not many people really do that. So it's like, I don't know. I think Michelle, with the bands that she's worked with over the past like 15 years or whatever, like a lot of people are kind of the same way, and I think a lot of people came from a community like back in the day that. It was like you're touring around the country trying to save money and trying to do this thing and like play DIY venues. And it's not like, no one's like going through like Live Nation or some crazy promotion or anything like that. It's just kind of like you cruise and you play and you see what you can do. And that's that. So it's like, I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. Yeah.
Just like talking about this thing about the market and the agents of the market, like what changed the most when you started your own label?
My own record label?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, not a lot. The thing with the record label is that it's like, it's kind of just like an outlet to put my own records out on. And it's cool. Like, I'm not really hustling to be like, all right, like going out to shows like, hey kid, I like your sound, like it's not my vibe.
It's basically like owning the masters. Like,
well, there's that, and there's, other, it's just cool to have like, and no pressure, no timeline, no anything. It's just, it's mellow, and I have the capacity to put other people's music out. We're putting something out next year, I think, but I don't know when it's getting announced. So I got to keep it hush hush for now. But things like that. It's like, it's not it's just do it. It really hasn't changed that much, I guess. And I still, like, all of my old records are still with Capture Tracks too, so it's like I still have a relationship with them, and we still work together on that, and I think people still want to buy those records nowadays. So yeah, it's cool. I don't know. Vinyl.
Do you intend to produce like new artists under your label? Like,
do I have plans to?
Yeah, if you have like been in touch with other artists.
Well, like I was saying, I got one thing coming out next year, but I can't talk about it yet. But
okay.
But yeah, I mean, like the way that I have it set up is like, if something comes around, or if there's somebody that I've known that needs help putting a record out, or anything like that, then yeah, why not? But it's like pretty low pressure. I'm not. I'm not trying to make it some kind of like, all right, like we'll get like, hey kid, like, oh, this is the hype band right now, like sign with us, we'll give you the most money. Like I don't care. It's like, yeah. I'm gonna put music out that I genuinely like, and try, and it's a platform for my own stuff, and be what it may. If I'd make some weird ambient record or something, I can just chuck it on there, like it's all good. So it's like, yeah. It's just mellow. I don't know.
And you mentioned like you've been listening to a lot of ambient new age stuff. Like, what artists have you been into like during the quarantine?
I have. Yeah, I think there's a couple people on YouTube that have channels that I think they just go digging for like kind of new age cassettes, and they'll digitize them and upload them. So a lot of the time, like, maybe there's a couple that I really stick with and we'll listen to a bunch of times and get to know the artist or whatever. But a lot of the time it's almost like a grab bag. Like they upload something, you don't really know what it is, but you trust their taste or whatever. So you just listen to it, and, sometimes it can be anything. Sometimes it's like half an hour of someone playing handbells or something, but there's that. I don't know. Listen, I don't know, like Brian Eno, I guess a lot of the like Sakamoto, more Ryuichi Sakamoto stuff. His like more experimental stuff. Even Hosono, Harumi Hosono's experimental stuff. I don't know. It's kind of whatever. Yeah. But I've been listening to that. A lot of Brazilian music, a lot of bossa nova, and a lot of I've got really into Caetano Veloso and Gal Costa. They're Brazilian, right?
Yeah.
Love Kira's really into Gal Costa right now. She's
That's
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, just kind of whatever floats on by, you know. It's funny. I think a lot of people, you know, it's almost like a lot of people have been listening to more like calm alone time music. Like it's funny, I think with my last couple records, because they're a little more mellow, you know, everybody's streaming has gone down. Apparently mine's gone up during quarantine because people are like, well, I need something like kind of like soothing and quiet. So it's like, okay, here's my record. but it's fun. I think just with the quarantine, nobody wants to listen to like party music right now. No one's partying, you know, you're just at home. You just want to like soothe your soul. So maybe some like, I don't know, those like singing bowl ambient 30-minute cassette. Maybe it's good for you right now. Maybe not. I don't know.
And do you think like those kind of like folk songs that you've been writing, like constantly getting more chill, like the latest records, like you were you writing those like during the tours you were doing or like at home? Because I was thinking like, do you think the quarantine maybe would change like the way you're writing? You're like, it will affect on your sound, like.
I mean, I always kind of do everything at home. I do record on tour quite a bit nowadays, but for all that stuff, like songs usually happen when I'm back at my space. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the quarantine, it's funny with making music in it because I think initially I didn't want to do it. I was like, this is not the right vibe. You know, I kind of have rules with making music. You know, I've been doing it for a while. I'm not like concerned with like, okay, I got to like put out 2 albums this year. Like, let's go, you know, like I'm going to take my time and just make something that I like. So yeah, but like I have rules where it's like, if I'm not feeling excited about making music or feeling happy or whatever, then it's like, then I kind of just don't do it. But with the quarantine, I had a couple friends too, you know, musicians or artists or whatever, what have you, that, it was like a mutual thing where they were like, vibe's like too weird right now. Like I don't want to do it. I've kind of moved out of that now and I'm working on stuff, but yeah, I think just it's a weird time. It's a weird time. And also I think the concept of like working on something with no prospect to like be able to go play it in front of people, it's weird, you know? And I'm not on social media or anything, so I don't get that like endorphin rush of like, yeah, click like here's my new song, you know, like I don't give a shit, you know. So it's like the live portion of it is like important to me, you know. It's like I don't know, that's where I share, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's weird.
And also like musically it was getting more mellow, like also because I don't know, like I remember in Brazil, like the age of like the audience was like really young, and the people who are into you, like the crazy fans, like did you get a bit like, is that a way also to get like a bit away from like not only attracting like young kids but getting more mellow could attract also like more mature or like adults? I don't know. I mean, I think that, you know, rule of thumb is like you don't get to choose who listens to your music, and I kind of love that. But it's like, as much as I do make music for the people that are listening, you know, and like for the people in the crowd, it's like I'm also making it for myself, and it's like, you know, take it or leave it, I guess, is kind of the bottom line, you know. And I think it's I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of friends and a lot of bands that have really catered to, you know, like bigger shows, more effects, more blah blah blah. It's like not for me, really. So it's like, you know, and I think it's just indicative of what I listen to. Like I don't really listen to like fast music like at all. So it's just kind of where I'm at. I like quiet sounding things. I like, you know, delicate sounding things. I don't know. It's just where I'm at. But maybe I'll make a, you know, little rock record at some point again. Who knows? And we were saying, like, you were talking about like the Capture Tracks era, like those 3 records. How was like the vibe, like living in New York, and like it was a similar timing that all the bands kind of like blew up, like Dive, Beach Fossils, Wild Nothing, Mac DeMarco. Like,
yeah,
how was being on that scene, and I don't know, how was the vibe?
It was cool. It was I saw Cole and Colin that play in Dive a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about it actually. But yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of that scene they already had. It was like a big family in Brooklyn, and then I kind of got added into it by Mike, because Mike signed me at Capture Tracks and you know, brought me down and introduced me to all these people, and we started doing these records together. And yeah, it was cool. I always felt, you know, it's like I'm not even American, and you know, even living in New York, it was kind of like I felt a little outside of it, I guess. But it was cool. You know, it was really exciting, and it was like very inspiring, and yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy to New York's a crazy city regardless. I was talking about it earlier today. You know, it's like in LA, I feel very comfortable. You know, like I can drive around. Doesn't really matter where I am in LA. It's like I feel comfortable. You know, in New York, I almost never felt comfortable, but it's kind of almost a good thing. You know, it's kind of like keeps you on your toes a little bit. But
because a lot of bands moved to LA, right? Like Dive, Tops, like bands from this scene, like, and also bands that were already in this scene, like I don't know, Mile High Club.
Yeah, people are out here. I mean, I think New York's pretty expensive to live in. LA's getting expensive now too, but I've really put my roots down at this point here, so I'll probably be here for a while. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It's all, you know, every 10 years or something, it's like everybody goes over here, everybody goes back here, and back and forth and back, you know, or wherever else. You know, I feel like a lot of people used to live in San Francisco too, like a lot of bands, musicians. They've come down to LA too, just because it's so expensive to live up there now. So
yeah,
I don't know.
And were you approached during these years by like major record labels, like trying to do like crazy record deals?
After,
yeah, like during the Capture Tracks, like, or even right now, like, do you get like offers from like, or do you have any good story about like crazy deal that tried to do with you? Or
not really any stories. I mean, I think I've definitely had a couple dinners or whatever with big labels, and but I think at that point I'd already been around the block enough to kind of be like, I don't want to do this, you know. And it's like, I think that most people can kind of smell it on me too. They're kind of like, I don't know if this is his vibe, you know, and it's not. So it's like I think most of the time the meeting I was just kind of like, no thanks, I'm good. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting. I mean, the state of like record labels alone in you know, this day and age is it's crazy. Yeah, the systems just change so much, and the internet's, you know, crazy, and I don't know. Like it's their role. I feel like is changing all the time. Yeah. So I don't know. It's weird.
Let's talk about like after Salad Days, we saw a lot of new bands coming out and sounding like Mac DeMarco. A lot, like in Brazil, everywhere in the world. And how is that for you? Like this new generation of Mac DeMarco?
I mean, it's cool, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's probably like how, like, I don't know, Ariel Pink or something felt when I started coming around, because I loved his music, you know. It's like, or anybody else, you know, like our Khan and Moccasin or Stevie Moore or whoever else. Like, I just loved that shit, and I wanted to. And I don't think I'm like quite on the same page as those guys. You know, it's like the different kind of music, I think, a lot of the time. But I don't know. I think it's cool. I mean, there's a couple bands that like carbon copy some of my stuff, which is kind of like, you know, okay, you know, but I don't really mind. The thing that's alarming to me is when people think things sound like my music, and then I listen to it and I'm kind of like, this is what you think my music is? Like, what are you hearing? You know, it's like, so, but you know, doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And I find the whole thing hilarious too, because it's like, you know, people are like, yeah, Mac DeMarco was like the first guy to cuff his jeans and wear Vans. It's like, what are you talking about? You know, like people have been wearing these clothes for, you know, it's funny how things get forgotten and things change and things get, just with the internet and the speed of things nowadays. It's like, I don't think that a lot of, you know, what I've done in my career is, I mean, I'd like to think that some of the stuff I've done musically is very much me, but a lot of the stuff is just what I grew up liking or wearing or, you know, whatever. It's very, I pull from all over the place, you know. It's like, so that's why, you know, it's hard for, you know, it's cool if kids like what I'm doing and they want to make something that sounds like that. It's great, you know. It's awesome.
And you've been like always been compared to like Jonathan Richman and Malcolmus. Have you managed to meet them like during?
I've met Jonathan a couple times, and his drummer Tommy as well. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's amazing. And I think there were points where I was really doing an impression of him more than, probably not as much today, but but yeah, I mean, it was one of those shows when I was a kid that I went and saw, and I was just like, this is how you do it. Like, this is how you do it. Like, he's figured it out, and this rules, and I love it. And Stephen Malcolm is too. I mean, I loved Pavement. I still love Pavement, but it's like that when I was in high school, that was like a big band for me. Yeah, I've never met Steve Malcolmus, but yeah, I would love to someday. I was in a music video for him where he had all these people were putting like 3D filters of his face on. Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, I really think he's really awesome, and yeah, it's cool.
Cool. And that thing that Farah mentioned about like the sounding like Mac DeMarco generation, I think like it also happened in a way too with Tame Impala, right? Like a lot of psych rock bands. Yeah, probably
more with them, you know. And they're especially, I mean, Tame. People started like honestly. Most of the, even on like YouTube commercials or something, you hear drums and you're like, that's Kevin's drum sound. You know, it's like people just want it, you know, and it's like, you know, and you know, and especially like more top 40 artists and stuff like that kind of became privy to, and he produces crazy stuff and does all this and all that. And it's like, yeah, it's people.
You know each other, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. For a long time, a bunch of years. I know all the guys in that band. Good homies.
Cool. And like, it's funny, like you both have like individual writing process, like gear geeks. And do you intend to produce more than being a live musician in the future? Like, do you plan?
Maybe. I don't know. I like to record stuff and I like to record people, but I'm not, you know, I can make things sound the way that I already make things sound. Like, I'm not the kind of person that's like a Swiss Army knife of like, okay, kid, we're going to make you a record. Like, how do you want it to sound? Like, okay. Like, I don't know. Recording is like a hobby of mine, and I like to do it. And if somebody needs help with it, then I can help them out. Sometimes, depends. Like, you know, I'll only work with stuff that, you know, I have some kind of interest in. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to become producer guy. I like to record stuff. I like to be studio guy, but I just like to write my little songs, and that's kind of that, you know. But I'll help people out if they need help.
I was thinking about like people that you've met like during those years, like people that you were really into it as a teenager, and then you've met like, and now you know as a friend or someone that knows your music. Is there like someone specific or that you were like, fuck, this guy knows my song? Like,
I mean, so many people. It's like, you know, we played that show with the Strokes last New Year's, and you know, I've played with the Voids many times and recorded them here, but meeting those guys in the Voids and in the Strokes is just kind of like, it's, you know, I've known them for several years now, but it's like, it's just crazy, you know, like that's like, the Strokes were a huge band for me, you know, when I was a lot younger, and you know, playing with them too is just like, what the fuck, it's crazy. You know, I mean, I've had the opportunity to spend some time and hang with Beck a lot recently, which is like, he's Beck, man. That's crazy, you know. Or meeting Thurston Moore. He like did this festival we did in Margate. That was insane. meeting, you know, I've met Hosono from Tokyo or from Japan. Like that, that's truly nuts to me. And I got to talk on the phone with Akiko Yano recently. It was like, it's nuts. Like it's just nuts. You know, like doesn't compute, especially when, you know, you have, because I've had a couple instances where it's like you meet someone, it's like, whoa, that was weird. You know, like, oh, I shouldn't have, you know, it's like you don't want to meet your idols in some, but when you meet people and they're just genuinely very sweet, normal people, it's just kind of like, wow, this is nuts.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. I mean, the list goes on.
And what's the story behind the music video for Iggy Pop that you did? You directed, right?
Oh yeah, I don't know. They hit up Michelle, I think, and they were looking for somebody to make a video, and they had a little budget, and I was like, I haven't met Iggy. That would be awesome, but yeah, I made this weird video with my friend in lizard makeup, and it was fun. Maybe I'll meet him someday. Who knows? Maybe not.
Was it shot in LA?
Yeah, just in my neighborhood and shit. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a really cool video.
Yeah, it's tight.
And have you been working on new material like already? Like, do you have anything to show like soon?
I don't know about like show, but I have a bunch of. I'm always recording like little instrumental things or, you know, little ambient things or whatever. Sometimes I leak a few out or whatever, but I actually have like a pretty hefty stack of songs right now too. I don't know if they'll show up on a record or if I'll put them on a demos record or just kind of chuck them on the internet, but I have like probably at least like an album's worth of like maybe 12, 20 or 10 to 20 songs, but they're like all kind of from different spots and different, you know, attitudes or different vibes or whatever. So it's kind of like, I don't know if they would work together very well on a record, but maybe I could chuck some of them in there. Some fun ones, some serious ones, some somber ones. I don't know. We'll see.
We should do a feature with a Brazilian artist.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
We'll suggest some names after. Like, and let's, okay, we have the questions from Instagram and Twitter to end this. Okay, Gabi Flintz asks, who would you like to collaborate with?
Gal Costa.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, Class Sork, did the Earthbound soundtrack influence you a lot musically?
The which?
Earthbound soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. I actually have Earthbound. It's playing, the intro's playing on loop on my Super Nintendo over here right now. But no, I think, yeah, I actually got to meet the guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that did the soundtrack. What's his name? Oh God, what's his name?
Is that an 80s game or 90s?
I think it's 90s. Yeah. Takahashi and it's a Japanese name. It's escaping me right now. But I met him in Tokyo. He came to our show, and I didn't realize that he had made Earthbound, and then I did, and I was like, oh, and he was like, whoa, like you're stoked on like the weird video game soundtrack I made in the 90s. But yeah, I think honestly that the soundtrack to that game is like, I kind of use it as like video game soundtracks, especially from that era where it was like very simple technology and very simple sample synthesizers and stuff. It's like you had to make something that was like interesting, you know, catchy, but also not, you know, able to be looped for hours and hours without like driving you completely insane. And some games did not do that well, but I feel like Earthbound is like, it like some of the simplicity of some of it and like the melodies and the vibe of it is like, that's perfect. I think it's just perfect. But I love it. I really do.
Have you ever done soundtrack for a game?
No, but I'd love to. If anybody needs a video game soundtrack, hit a dog up. That's what's up.
Okay, next question. Vitor Elinesi. Was the video for European Vegas based on Twin Peaks or David Lynch?
You know what? You'd have to ask my friend Angus Borsos directed that. And he's quite a cerebral guy, very interesting guy. I haven't seen him in quite a few years now, but he's a Canadian guy. And we shot that in Montreal, but I'm sure he could write you an essay on the meaning of that video. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So next question, El Andresson is asking about bands or musicians from Brazil that you like the most. You talk about Gal and Caetano. Do you have any other artists?
Yeah, I mean, I love Elise, Regina, and Tom Jobim, and
João Gilberto.
yeah, of course, and I don't know what's the guy's name? Marcos Valle.
Do you know Tim Maia?
Marcos Valle. Yeah.
Marcos Valle.
Who else is dope?
I remember that we present to you and Michelle Tim Maia when you were here. It's like a soul funk music. It's like James Brown style.
Yeah. That's dope.
Awesome.
Those Boogarins guys, I love their tunes. I actually saw them on the street here I guess it was a while ago now, but it was fun playing with them back in the day. And yeah, I don't know.
That's cool.
Brazil, baby.
Yeah.
All the classics,
Pedro1356 asks, how does it work, your writing process in lyrics and melodies?
How does it work?
Yeah, where do you start from? First writing the lyrics and...
It depends. I mean, sometimes I'll just sit down and write, and just try and write on a guitar on a piano or something, and I'll try and find a melody, and then maybe the lyrics come afterwards. I usually have an idea of what I'm trying to write a song about. Sometimes I just have a lyric or a chorus line that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make that song tomorrow. Like Rock and Roll Nightclub, for example. I remember I was just in the dining room or the kitchen or whatever at our house in Montreal, and I was like, tomorrow I'm gonna write a song called Rock and Roll Nightclub, and everyone was like, shut the fuck up, dude. And I was like, okay, and I did. And then I don't know, it depends. Sometimes I'll have an instrumental, and back in the day, on Two, for example, I would usually write an instrument, the rhythm guitar and the lead guitar, and then try and figure out something that went in between those. So that was more of kind of Lego blocks, and then the lyrics would come or whatever. But it all just kind of, right now I kind of like being able to sit down and do a whole piece of something, like a song or whatever, as one thought, because it feels more organic or something like that. But whatever works. It's funny though with records like Two, or even some of the stuff on Salad Days, because I pieced it together the way I did. Some of it is incredibly hard for me to sing and play at the same time, and we've just never done some of those songs because they kind of make no sense. So yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
Okay, so next, Usta Oliveira Zero. What are your memories on Make Our Videotape?
My memories. Make a Videotape was kind of the same thing that I do now. It's just me recording at home, and kind of a rotating cast of different people would play with me. And a lot of those records were just me on guitar and a floor tom and a snare drum. So, there were points in time in Vancouver when I lived there where it was I would just, call someone and be like, hey, can you play drums with me tonight? They're like, I don't know how to play drums. I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry. Let's go do it. So yeah, it was funny because I think at that point in time in the, Canadian and American, underground scene or whatever you want to call it, there was a lot of lo-fi bands of people recording in their bedrooms that made it seem like it was a band, but it was just, somebody, it was a kind of mysterious, you know what I mean? So that was just my version of that, and it was the first thing that I really did on my own and put out. So it was cool. I like listening to those recordings now. It's a real trip down memory lane for me. But yeah, it's cool.
And it's funny that also kind of became the market. The music market looked at it and they made it a big thing, like a bedroom pop. So Claro, Cuco, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think now it's funny now because a lot of these bands, they're not recording in their, some of the music I'm sure, but it's I know a lot of these kids, they go to studios, they do the whole thing, but it's funny when something that, you know, a genre that is called bedroom pop because things are recorded in people's bedrooms kind of starts, they've shifted it over to how music sounds, which is kind of, it's almost like indie. You know, indie means independent, you know what I mean? But the indie has a sound. There's a sound, you know?
Yeah,
so it like kind of doesn't make any sense. You know, all these like terms for music. That's why I always call my shit jizz jazz, because people are like, what does that mean? I was like, I don't fucking know. You know, it's like nothing. You know, so it's just the same as all the other ones, but it's cool.
Yeah. Okay, Gabriel.Masqueto asks, what are your favorite books, and did they influence in your music?
I'm not a huge reader, I'll be honest. I'm a bit of a plebeian, but I like Hermann Hesse's books. I was trying to do a audio book of Siddhartha recently. Cool. And I hadn't really read anything out loud in a long time, and it was not easy. I have like probably 6 hours of me like starting and stopping reading this book, and maybe when I'm dead someday someone can edit it, but for now it's, you know, we're chilling. But I like that. I like I don't know.
But like reading stuff, does it inspire you, or just like
sometimes? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it depends. It depends. I think music and like other people's lyrics kind of, because, you know, writing is very different than like writing song lyrics. Even poetry, I feel, is different than song lyrics. Song lyrics are weird. It's like its own bag. At least the ones that I you know, I'm attracted to or whatever. But I don't know. It can, I guess. But, you know, I feel like whenever I go down that road and like try and read some piece of this or piece of that, you know, I think that, oh yeah, okay, I'm writing these like heady lyrics, and then I read them back or try and sing them, and I'm like, what the fuck, you know? But at the same time, like a lot of my songs and song titles are references, like, you know, Salad Days is Shakespearean. Like there's like a lot of, you know, there's you know, there's a lot of Masonic references, all this, all that, you know, it's, so I don't know, but I just kind of dumb it down to make it fun for everybody, I hope.
Cool.
You know, what's going on?
So next one, Lilas Kilas is asking, Mac, tell us about when you decided to live as a musician and the challenges you faced when you're in your career in the early days.
When I decided to like be a musician?
Yeah,
like
just live as someone that have no other jobs, and you know, this is your main job.
Yeah, I never really decided. I think it just kind of got to a point where I was able to do that. Like it's like I always thought, you know, for my entire life I would be able to make music, but I would have a job. You know, I'd have some job, maybe a job that I liked, maybe a job that I didn't like. I don't know, whatever. I had many jobs. And I always thought I would have this job, and the job makes it possible for me to do my hobby on the side, you know? So even up until I think even after 2 was out, I was still working at a grocery store sometimes. To, you know, just to pay the rent or whatever. But there came a point where it wasn't even like I had to quit my job or whatever. It's like we just were on tour so much that I couldn't go do it. And then we toured. And, you know, as soon as we slowed down a little bit, I was like, oh, I don't need a job anymore because this is like my job. But it's a weird line to walk with that as well, because the last thing I want is for what I, you know, my like music and my hobby or whatever to like feel like work. And I've tried, you know, there's a lot of things I've done over the years to make it feel, to keep it separate. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But there are times where it does start feeling like, oh, I have another day in the office. And it's like, no good. So, yeah, I just try and enjoy it. You know, it's funny to think about that I haven't had a normal job in 8 years or something, 7 years.
Do you manage your own business, like hey, I'm gonna invest this money in this thing, and or something?
Yeah, we do stuff like that, like, you know, and I'm fine. You know, we were on tour a lot. I never really spend money on anything except for like, you know, music gear and groceries. So yeah, we're totally, things are fine for sure. And for Kira too, it's like we're just kind of doing our thing, and
cool.
And it's cool. and I'm able to make as much music as I want now, and things are chill.
Mota Bruno asks, is the Brazilian food the best in the world?
I'll tell you, I think, it's like Brazil and Japan. That's the top of the shelf for me. But I'll tell you, like, it's one of those things where, like, how many like Brazilian restaurants there are in the States and like steakhouses and shit. It's not the same. It's not the same, and it's like the amount of variety and like crazy. It's the best, And I think, I love going to Argentina and Chile and other parts of South America too, but Brazil's got the best shit. The barbecue's amazing. That fish place, oh my God, the sandwich, everything is good. The fruits, it's the best. It's the best.
Okay, so next one, Ana Lu. She's asking, I want to know your favorite food when you had the monkeys.
Munchies,
sorry.
I'll tell you the truth. I don't smoke weed, so haven't really had the munchies.
No munchies, yeah. No
munchies.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure I did when I was a kid or some shit, but I don't. I'm not like a. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not a hippie, but I mean, if I did have the munchies, I would probably say, Estadão.
Yeah, that's good.
Good choice.
Yeah,
and heavy.
Oh yeah, put you right down for a nap.
Hey Vinny asks, best guitar pedal.
Best guitar pedal. I want to say tuning pedal, but I'll bet so. I don't know. I really like vibrato pedals. I don't know, the Boss vibrato pedal. It's kind of like, I don't really think people thought that I used chorus for a really long time, and sometimes I think I did because I didn't realize the effect that I was getting at home was vibrato, but I just really like a really slow vibrato. Makes everything kind of sound out of tune. I like that, but honestly, right now my pedal board is like tuner, vibrato, digital reverb. Like, that's it. So kind of the best guitar pedal is kind of like a dope old amp in a lot of cases, for me. It's just like, really, if you can, because I like the way the DI guitar sounds too, but it's like, if you have an amp that just makes everything, then you don't need anything else. You just put a microphone on it and you're good to go.
What guitar amp do you use?
My grandma gave me this little Fender Vibro Champ that she had in her, because she was a singing instructor and an opera singer for her whole life. And she had it in her studio when she used to teach in my hometown. And she had a little 58, a Shure 58, and she used to teach microphone technique on it. And she gave it to me one year because she wasn't using it anymore. And I remember it was when I was learning guitar. And I got it at the time, and I was like, what is this thing? Like, no distortion switch, no reverb, no delay. Like, what is this? And now, for the past 10 years, it's the only amp that I've ever recorded. So, yeah, it's great. It's just really small. It's like maybe, 8-inch speaker or something, really tiny amp. Sounds great.
Cool.
Fabio Cardelli is asking, what's your favorite guitar tone?
My favorite guitar tone?
Yeah.
I don't know. Chuck a little vibrato on it, maybe a Strat or like something with a pickup kind of near the neck, single coil usually. Although I do this guy right here. I like those humbuckers. But yeah, I like it clean. I like not a lot of reverb, just nice, and let the guitar be the guitar, Let it speak its voice. Every guitar sounds a little different. Let it be what it is.
Last ones. Leticia A. Ferreira asks, Chamber of Reflection has a sample from Shigeo Sekiro, and you've recorded Honeymoon by Hiromi Hosono. Besides those tracks, what other influence from Japanese music and culture do you have?
It's not a sample in Chamber of Reflection, but it's his melody and chords, but I recorded it myself. But and Hosono, I mean, Hosono was kind of like the gateway into that music for me, but I grew up watching a lot of anime and a lot, I love the Miyazaki movies. There's a lot of cartoons that I really loved growing up, and I think, some of those things in retrospect, looking back, some of them had really crazy music, especially those Miyazaki movies. That guy, what's his name? Joe Hisashi or something. He's amazing. But yeah, I love a lot of that music. It's like, you know, I think that the reason, especially with Hosono, I got into him because I heard this album Hosono House, which was like kind of hard to find over here at the time. Now I think it's been, you know, reissued and everybody knows about it and whatever. But this was like maybe 11 or 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And I heard it, and it sounded, you know, it was kind of funky, like a little bit Sly Stoney, like it's crudely recorded in his house, and it sounds awesome. Don't get me wrong. And it kind of sounded like the band, you know, it was like very drawing a lot from American music, but then also with his Japanese thing and all kinds of stuff getting pulled in, and like kind of, you know, Tropicalia getting pulled in and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And that hooked me, and then you know, from there you go down, and then I heard about YMO, and then you go there, and then from there it's just like this spider web of all of this stuff. But I think, you know, that's kind of what got me into synthesizers initially too, because I think for a long time synthesizers kind of meant like Kraftwerk, or, you know, like, you know, I feel like, you know, early European synth stuff was very like, yes, like computer music, cold, icy, like we are, you know. But then I heard all the Japanese stuff, and they were making it sound very organic and like very natural and like
and smooth, maybe.
Yeah, it was just like very human. They were making the synth sound way more human. I was like, oh, I don't hate synthesizers. Like, this is cool, you know. But yeah, and then I mean, there's so much music from that. Even just that crew in Japan, like so much music, and yeah, it's crazy. And for the amount of times that like technology changed, or the, you know, whatever, the culture changed, they were on the cutting edge for like decades and decades, you know. And it's just really inspiring to look at, you know.
That's cool. Luca Sherin asks favorite Canadian bands.
I mean, there's a lot of classic artists from Canada that I love, obviously. The Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, you know, the band. Well, most of them. I don't know.
Justin Bieber, Simple Plan, Drake.
Tragically Hip, great Canadian band. Rush. I don't know. I came from... there was a lot... When I was first starting to play music, there were a lot of great bands. Even from my part of Canada, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere. There's a band called Women that I really love still, and a band called New Sensei, old friends of mine. Shearing Pinks, Twin Crystals. I would consider Dirty Beaches is Canadian. At least when I met him, he was living in Canada. I love that. There's a band out of Montreal called Brave Radar that I really love. Old band called Each Other. That was a great band in Montreal. I don't think they're doing their thing anymore. Eric's Trip, a little more OG. Julie Doron, that's amazing. You know, Shotgun and Jaybird. I'm going right down high school memory trail that right now. The Vertical Struts, an Edmonton band. Yeah, I don't know if they're doing their thing anymore either, but that was a great band. Yeah, a lot of bands.
These are all contemporary? Like
yeah, I mean, some of them were bigger, some are smaller, you know, here and there, but yeah, just a lot of friends as well. But look that up. Yeah, there's plenty, and Canadiana, baby. Chad Van Galen, there's another one for you. Awesome.
Yeah,
Leslie
really
Feist.
good.
Let's not forget Feist. I love Feist. I've had the pleasure of meeting her several times. The Queen of Canada.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so cheguei hoje, Rafinha. She's asking, what was the first record you ever had?
It was probably... There was I remember having 3 records that I actually like, you know. I think the first record I ever bought at the record store was that album Eraser by Tom York. I think it came out around the time I got a record player. But I had records before that I'd gotten from, I think, my friend's mom and a friend of mine. But I had the the Raspberries. I think maybe they only had one album, maybe they had more, I don't know. But they had that song, Please Go All the Way. But it sounded very Paul McCartney. I had Plastic Ono Band by John Lennon. and I think Smiley Smile by the Beach Boys. And yeah, those are probably I remember having those ones. Yeah. I've been listening to Smiley Smile a lot lately, so I don't know. It sticks with you.
Miolenas asks, what do you believe is important to release also your your demo recordings?
I don't think it's important per se, but I think it's, it's just cool. It's like these are the scraps or like, skeletons of what I was trying to do. Sometimes it's very different than what comes out on the actual record, so I think it's kind of interesting sometimes. And then, it depends. Like, there's been a couple, like for a couple of the demo records were like really shitty versions or like scrappy versions of the finished product. Then, like, say for the demos that just came out, like it's kind of like I already had pretty much the whole album demoed out, like for This Old Dog. So there's that. But then I did a second record of like other shit that didn't make it on or wasn't finished or whatever, or just like little ideas. And then, for example, like with This Old Dog, those demos, like a lot of that stuff was just other shit that I was making at the time. Like for This Old Dog, a lot of the original recordings of the demos wound up on the record, and I would just modify it or whatever. So. So yeah, it's just, I think it's kind of cool because it's like to put out like a real record is kind of annoying. It's like there's press, there's blah, blah, blah. You got to get fucking photos. You got to talk to some jackass here and whatever. And, it's like, it's annoying. And it takes like 6 months. But with demos, it's like, well, I had all that other music and you can put it out and there's no press run up. I mean, there can be if you want, but whatever. But it just comes out and it's just music and you can listen to it if you want. And there's no pressure or anything stupid. It's just music. And it's fun for me. So
cool.
Right. I think there's the last one. So Judah Nahum, what are your main inspirations and references on guitars? And also, are your lung exams up to date?
Are my what?
Lung exams.
Lung exams up to date.
Never had a lung exam. Probably should go. But as you can see, I'm doing the digital cigarette now. I've pretty much stopped smoking real cigarettes. I do every once in a while, but hey, look at me.
So no Viceroy anymore?
No, not really. Not really. But, and I haven't had a drink in like, since quarantine? 6 months, 7 months, something.
That's good.
Look at me. I'm a hippie. But, yeah, I don't know. Guitar influences, I don't know. I grew up learning, like I learned, I think what most kids learning to play contemporary, the easiest thing to kind of get you started and play with other people is usually like blues music. So you learn pentatonic scales, you learn, little 12-bar things or whatever. So I did that for a long time. And, I don't know if my music is necessarily bluesy, but, there's definitely, in my playing, there is that influence, I think, a little bit. I don't know if I was ever very good at it, but it's in there. And pentatonic scale is pretty much one of the only scales I know how to play. So major, minor, pentatonic, you got me. And I don't know, with influences, I remember back in the day, I really loved Jeff Beck, I love, especially he likes Conan uses the whammy bar a lot. I wanted to start using it. And Jeff Beck's like the master of the whammy bar. I love the way Conan Moccasin plays guitar. He's quite bluesy guitar player. I really like that. I don't know. I like a lot of the, like Tom Jobim, like for example, like Boss's stuff, like those chords and stuff. I don't know how, that music's pretty complicated, pretty like jazz oriented. Like I don't really know, I can't understand what's going on, but I like the sound and I like to grab the chords every once in a while. I don't know. I guess my guitar playing's kind of changed over the years. For a while, I was trying to sound a lot like Jerry Garcia, and that phase has left me. I like, I don't know. I like the way that the Beatles guitars sound, I guess.
Is Dire Straits a reference?
I never was really into Dire Straits. Everybody, I think it's because I have like the clean single coil sound. But don't get me wrong, I like Dire Straits. There's a lot of great stuff there, but it just wasn't like really on the plate for me, I liked, I I don't know. For a while, I tried to do like a heavier sounding guitar tone. You know, actually, for a long time, I was trying to play just like that guy Daniel from the band Grizzly Bear. Like, I thought he's an amazing guitar player, and it was very rhythmic and a lot of stuff going on with this wrist over here. And I picked up a couple tricks from him, I'm sure, but I don't think my playing is really. That was like make out videotape days, you know. Like, I was trying to do some different. It's almost like playing like the chord and a melody line at the same time or whatever. Mm-hmm. But now I keep it to 2 different instruments or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Just guitar. I love George Benson. I'll never be able to play like that, but he's amazing. I was listening to Joe Pass last night, jazz guitarist. His albums is just guitar. It's just one mic on one amp. It's great, you know? I don't know. Guitar.
Cool. And last question. Uiana Vieira, she asks if you add pineapple to your Estadão sandwich.
Oh, yes, I do. And cheese.
Pineapple, cheese, and
I usually eat 2 of them at once. And you gotta have the sauce too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's the best.
We gotta find you like a sponsorship from Estadão.
I know,
because
there's got to be some. I don't know. I want that sandwich so bad. I want it so bad.
We could open a branch.
Yeah. That's what you guys got to move up here and open an LA one. And yeah,
that would be good.
Make a killing. Yeah.
Awesome. Mac, thanks so much, man. Thanks for your time. I know quarantine hasn't been easy, but keep it going.
Yeah, you guys do. Good to see you.
Yeah, let's keep in touch and hopefully new record, Brazil again.
Hit me up. Me and Kira are trying to we want to come on vacation down there, okay? Let's figure this out. Okay? We're going to figure this out. We're going to figure it all out.
Okay.
Sure thing.
That's what we're going to do.
You use like a balaclava, so you hid from all the kids here. So we take you only to secret places.
Coronavirus.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Exactly.
Cool, man. Thanks so much. Awesome. Send our best to Kira as well. And that's it. Talk soon, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, Mac.
Ciao.